Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I'm Angela Odom, and first of all, I want to just welcome you and make sure you are preparing yourself with some notes. This is going to be really good. This is the live recording of the Better You Leadership Podcast. My name is Angela Odom, and I am the founder and lead strategist for the Better You Project. We are so excited because guess what? Every opportunity we have, we take to teach women how to lead themselves first, others, organizations, and processes. I'm going to make sure that I can actually hear myself before we get started. Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. And every week, y'all come on in. I'm Angela Odom, okay, good. So it looks like y'all can hear me, and we're going to go ahead and get started because it's noon and here we go. So welcome to the Better You Leadership Podcast. My name is Angela Odom, and I am the CEO and founder of the Better You Project brand. I teach women how to lead themselves, lead others and organizations, as well as lead processes. Hey, Mo, I see you. Hey there. And so we want to get started here today. If you are not excited about something, and then here is your opportunity to get excited about something. Today, we're going to talk about the hill we climb. And if you were fortunate enough to be alive and vibrant and coherent on January 20th, then you may have, as I did, hear the speech. Good morning, Carrie. You may have heard the speech I heard, right? So on January 20th, we all got to had the opportunity to see Amanda Gorman. She's an inspirational and charismatic leader. She's only 5'3" tall. And guess what? She stood tall on the stage with luminaries during President Joe Biden's inauguration ceremony. You know, I personally was just taken aback, first of all, just watching President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris take their oath, right? I was already whoa, this is so good, right? They were surrounded by their loving families and of course, all of the high-profile individuals coming through the door and taking their seat on the dais in the midst of a pandemic, right? Only a couple of weeks after the people attempted a coup, storming the Capitol, I think they even beat a police officer to death and attempted to just wreak havoc. And then just, on this day with all this majesty and this beauty, we were introduced to Amanda Gorman as she recited her poem, The Hill We Climb. So, first of all, President Barack Obama and his wife, former First Lady Michelle Obama arrived in that amazing outfit, right? And then we had those dazzling performances by, Lady Gaga, J.Lo, and Garth Brooks. Quite frankly, I'm going to say I didn't even know that Garth Brooks sounded that good. And I knew about, of course, J.Lo walked in there with all her white, looking amazing. And then, of course, Lady Gaga, it was as if she couldn't even contain herself being surrounded by luminaries, right? And then to have this 22-year-old step upon the podium with so much poise and to share with us, what obviously came from deep within. And so what we're going to talk about today is 10 ways poet Amanda Gorman, has influenced others. That's what we'll talk about. Influence, because basically, isn't that what leadership is, right? Isn't that what leadership is? It's the influence. Leadership is a process. It's a process of influencing others to attain specified and unspecified tasks. That's what leadership is. And I just want to just know, Mo and Carrie, did you watch the inauguration? And did you know? I mean, was it touching to you to hear the poem or to actually just watch the event itself? I just want to know. Just put your comments below. Just want to know, what was it just me? Because I was just floored, right? And so for the poet, she's 22 years old, just graduated from Harvard. She's a twin. And what I was so amazed about, there's only been 5 poets. There's only been 5 poets to perform in this prestigious role. Maya Angelou, Robert Frost, Miller Williams, Elizabeth Alexander, and Richard Blanco. Only 5, and that's so amazing that she would be able to first of all, just step on that stage in front of this global audience, and then to blow us all away, right? So right now, the entire universe is buzzing with all this positive energy about the possibilities that her poem has asserted. It was very authentic, and I mean, really, she had so much confidence. It was amazing. It was amazing. So also, I see you, Mo. Yes, it was touching, and I was in awe. You loved it. Yes, I loved it also. And then, of course, oh, Carrie, you cried several times. Me and you both. We were both crying. Don't worry about it. Yep, we were both crying. It was amazing. Actually, I cried all through the thing, quite frankly, all through the ceremony. I cried the week before when they were leading up to it. It was amazing. So, but anyway, let's jump right into this. So 10 ways or 10 demonstrations of how Amanda Gorman has influenced others. So we look around and we start, throwing around these words of leader and leadership. And really, if it's a process of influencing others, then we can see clearly that this amazing woman, poet, is influencing others around her, right? First of all, the poem is already a popular teaching tool. Get this. I was amazed. I'm so excited about it. PBS has provided a lesson plan for students in grades 6 through 12. That's one, right? Then the New York Times has also availed a teaching resource. So that's 2 ways that Amanda Gorman is influencing others. And that's others for years and years to come. So the teachers are all abuzz, right? She has 2 upcoming books, and they're not even going to be published until September, but they've already shot to the top of Amazon's bestseller list, which is pretty amazing, right? And she on her what she's saying is like, oh my God, she says, I am on the floor. My books are number 1 and number 2 on Amazon after one day, right? So she wanted to thank her supporters. She wrote that on Twitter, like the afternoon or evening after she had recited the inauguration poem. And then number 4 is when she's not writing, she is leading One Pen, One Page. She's the founder of a nonprofit. She's also the executive director. It's an organization that I've read about recently, right? In researching this particular topic. She's promoting youth literacy. I need that, right? And leadership. She's promoting, check that out, youth literacy and leadership through creative writing workshops. And her whole mission is to empower youth to use their voices and eliminate inequality through education. It's powerful all by itself. So imagine how many other people will be searching and seeking and connecting with One Pen, One Page, her nonprofit organization. And I assume she has a big team of people. It won't be, of course, not just her. And by the way, her mom's an English teacher, and she has a twin. Her twin was at UCLA while she was at Harvard. I mean, I'm just so excited about all the possibilities. Hopefulness is what I get from this one poem, right? So number five, Oregon State University's creative writing, the faculty and students, they did this YouTube video where they were offering their own thoughts, their insights on the poem, and they were simply just talking about the impact the poem had on them and what they how they felt, which was pretty amazing in itself. So number six, the jewelry she wore. I thought this was really, really cool. Oprah apparently has reached out to Amanda Gorman more than once, over time. And she apparently had some conversation about, hey, I bought Maya Angelou's coat. And the young lady said, well, I already have my coat. So Oprah apparently brought her earrings and purchased her some kind of a ring. It was a caged bird ring as a nod to, of course, Maya Angelou's book. I know what a caged bird sing, right? And so that was pretty good. So talking about influence, and so think about the platform that Oprah has, that Gayle has, and how many other people would be influenced by the jewelry, right? And that's pretty interesting all by itself. Just to look at how one person can influence others. And I was looking up some other items on YouTube, and I ran across Rabbi Whitman. I don't know him, right? I'd never heard of him before, but he was reviewing the poem, The Hill We Climb. He was reviewing it with his followers, right? And the rabbi was discussing Moses and Moses' speech impediment in connection with Amanda Gorman's speech impediment. And then he read the poem aloud, right? And so at that point, that's when I realized how much of a global influence this poet will have, or is having, and will continue to have, right? So I thought that was really interesting. And then, of course, I don't know if you've seen like the interview. She's been all over the news, right? Doing interviews, and simply seems delightful. But in one interview, she shared that, as I just mentioned, that she has faced a significant speech impediment, just like President Joe Biden with the stuttering, right? And similar to Maya Angelou, who was mute, like would not speak for years after she had been raped. She didn't speak for years because the grown man who raped her as a little girl, people around her killed him, right, for raping a little girl. So she thought that her voice had killed him, so she was mute. And so in the interview, anyway, in one of those interviews, Amanda Gorman was talking about her speech impediment and how she actually overcame it. And she said she learned how to speak by writing poetry. Now think about that. All of the people who actually help people overcome speech impediments. Think about that. Think about the schools now who enrollment will increase in their speech department, right? And that's amazing. And so in particular, she struggled, she said she struggled vocalizing the R sound. So she found like different ways to overcome that challenge. And then she noticed that rapping along with like rapid fire lyrics in the hit Broadway show Hamilton was actually the perfect solution. So to herself, she must have said, this is what in the article, it's like, if I can rap, if I can do those poetics at that speed with those incantations, that would be actually helpful, right, with the sounds. So that's what she did. So that's amazing. So just now we got to think about the influence on, Hamilton. That's amazing, right? Broadway shows, creative ways to overcome whatever your own stumbling block might be. And then number 9, so she's just been signed, um, represented by a modeling agency um, for because she wore that all that beautiful clothing, that attire. But of course, she's been doing this for years, right? So number 10 is I was just thinking, like, she will inspire you to be ready. And then, about be ready. You don't have to get ready if you're already ready. So we just discovered her, like Angela Odom. I just discovered her, right? But she was already doing the work. Think about that and ask yourself, are you ready to be discovered when you're already doing the work? What will you be prepared to do? Just think about what she already had in place before the modeling agency reached out to her, before Oprah reached out to her, before the organizers of the Biden inauguration campaign reached out to her. Think about that, what she had to have in place. And she talks about for her social media platforms, after she finished the reciting the poem, she's like, you know what, let me just check my Instagram. And she was thinking maybe she'd gain like 1,000 or so more followers, but in actually it went up to like 2 million within a couple of days, right? So to be prepared for that, all of her platforms, her notoriety, the fact that we have priests, we have English teachers, and we have publications all talking about her poem. We have the different Amazon, the different book publishing platforms, all talking about her different poems. And not just this one, she's written poems before. She's been already in the White House. She's visited the White House during the Obama era, right? She has been she's a Harvard graduate. So you just think about that. What is it you need to do right now to be prepared and be ready for whomever is looking to discover you? That's what I find is so amazing. So 10 things to know and admire about Amanda Gorman. We shared that. We talked about 10 ways that she has influenced others. And my question to you is, are you ready? Are you ready? What is it you need to put in place right now? And before we close this out, of course, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the poem to you, right? I'm going to read this poem to you really quickly. And I just think it's amazing, really. And before we do that, I want to invite you to the next round of our Women's Leadership Intensive so that you are ready, right? So that you know what you want, so that you have a plan, so that you take action. So go to angelaodom.com and make sure you go ahead and register for the Women's 3-Hour Leadership Intensive. And of course, I'm your host, and we will help you to make some progress, right? So angelaodom.com. So I'm going to go ahead and end this by reading the poem. And I think it took her like 5 minutes to read it. And I was just thinking about that. She has struggled with a speech impediment, walked up there with so much poise, confidence, and she just did what we all do, kept moving forward. So, The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. And the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country in a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge a union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. So we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew. Even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all of the bridges we've made. This is the promise to the glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, that would destroy our country if it meant delay in democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can periodically be delayed, but it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith, we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption we feared in its exception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how can we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how can catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burden. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we left. With every breath from our bronze-pounded chests, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the golden hills of the West. We will rise from the windswept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When the day comes, as we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid, the new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. I love this poem. So here at the Better You Project, we congratulate Ms. Gorman, and we cannot just wait to read her books. So it's our time, yours and mine, to influence others by writing our own poem, our own mantra, writing our own story. Again, my name is Angela Oderman. Of course, I am rooting for you. And today, Again, I want to encourage you to go ahead and sign up for the next women's 3-hour leadership intensive. Go to angelaodom.com, and I look forward to seeing you. And as always, I am rooting for you.